Alright, you studs, welcome to the video, and not a gaming video or drama related video as far as YouTube personalities go today, but an important video nonetheless, and in fact obviously more important because this actually has worldwide implications on a lot of people, and it just needs to be out here, needs to be said, needs to be told. Some of you may not be aware, you're probably not aware because the media isn't covering this, one of the biggest news stories of all time, and the media just isn't really covering it. It's sort of quiet, suspiciously quiet, one could say, about the George Floyd body cam leaked footage. Now, a judge blocked this footage over a month and a half ago when people were asking for it to be released, and the judge presiding over the case blocked it for very weird, that's a weird, why would you not release the body cam footage? But we can get into that further on down the road here, a little bit conspiratorial about that. But the George Floyd body cam footage was leaked out, and to say the least about it, the most or least you could say about it, if you're trying to walk the line of just being a centralist and not trying to spin anything on it, it complicates the issue very, very immensely. Now, the body cam footage is about 8 minutes or so before they get to the part where they kneel on George Floyd's neck. Now, let me just say it right out the bat because I know a lot of people just are going to lose their mind here, but let's just make it really clear. George Floyd didn't deserve to have someone kneeling on his neck for 8.5 minutes. That is irresponsible policing. That is poor policing. That is wrong and unnecessary considering the situation. He's handcuffed and you don't need to kneel on a dude's neck. But it's not that clear cut and dry that what the politicians, what the media, and Black Lives Matter and all these other organizations have tried to paint, that it was like a racist white cop that killed a black man because he was black and the cops are bad and need to be defunded. I mean, forget about the fact that the other two cops helping out the white cop were Asian and black themselves. But it's a tragedy all around, really. Like George Floyd, regardless, the guy's not a good dude. The history of him with the pistol whipping and robbing a pregnant lady in a home invasion, and did 5 years in a federal penitentiary and has done adult movies and whatnot, which is whatever, adult movies depending upon your view upon them. But the criminal aspects of his life and his past, and that's his past. Maybe he's become a better person. But like I said, all around, the body cam footage shows that it's not just cops get out of the car, you stupid N-word, get on the ground, smack him around, lay on the ground, kneel on his neck for 8 minutes, and he dies. Oh yeah, police brutality, they went out there, they're malicious. No, they pull him over. It's 8 minutes of George Floyd in delirium, high as a kite, obviously. There's also two other people in the car as well that I didn't know about, a lot of people didn't know about. Nothing happened to them, two black folks. They were taking out the car. They complied. They didn't resist. They were just, hey, what's up? Yeah, I got nothing really to do with this. Cops cool. We're dealing with George Floyd. Those two black people went on, lived their life. Nothing's happened to them. They didn't fight the police. But George Floyd gets handcuffs, pulled out the car. The cops plead with him the whole time during this incident. He is crying and freaking out, talking about how he couldn't breathe beforehand, how he doesn't want to go inside the police car because he's claustrophobic and he's scared and he doesn't want to go in. He's like, I'm not getting in there. And can you please go in there? Can you get in the car? I'm not getting in there, man. No, you got to get in the car. And he's like, I'm claustrophobic, man. I'm not going in the car. And they're like, just get in the car, please. We'll crack the window. Yeah, you crack the window and stay with me, please, officer. Please, officer. He's begging, please just stay with me. He's super scared. He's high out of his mind, obviously. He's not in the right state of mind. And they're like, okay, I'll roll the windows down. We'll wait with you. And he's like, I'll get you a cup of water. Just get in the damn car, dude. You got to get in. Okay. I'm going in. And then finally, he gets sort of in the car and he's not going in the car. And then the cops, goes around the other side of the car, drags him, try to get him in the car. And then he's not going to go in the car. And he's like, I just want to lay down. I want to go on the floor. I'll go on the floor. I want to lay down. I'll lay down. I'll go. You can put me on the ground. So they put him on the ground, and then that's when the video cuts out because it's just the cop on his neck now for, we've seen the other footage of about 8 minutes of him saying he can't breathe. But also during the whole time before getting in the car, he kept complaining about having COVID before and how he couldn't breathe. And, he kept saying, I can't breathe. And then, like I said, then he's on the ground, the cops lean on his neck, or the one cop leans on his neck, and then he ends up subsequently dying, which is, it's a tragedy still, right? I mean, the guy caused the problem himself, but he doesn't deserve to have the cop kneel on his neck. Like that's not a question. That's a no-brainer, right? Like, you can't have a cop kneeling on your neck for 8 minutes, and then, when the guy dies, you're confused. It's like, oh wow, like that's kind of like a manslaughter charge at best, I believe. I think that would be a manslaughter charge, but the cop's been charged with second-degree murder, which, you know what, was going to cause more riots. That's a problem people are not thinking about here. We're going to have more riots now because the media, like I said, suspiciously, like, how can you go quiet on this? How can you go quiet on this? It's like the biggest news story of, like, one of the top news stories of all time that has led off the biggest riots and the biggest protests, like, since the civil rights movement back in the 60s and 70s. And you have body cam footage that's leaked that has to deal with the exact reason why all this craziness has happened, and none of the media even cover it. Like, that is suspicious. Like, it's almost blackout. Like, they made a few articles in the print, but nothing on the news wires, nothing on TV, no TV talk shows that are like all like that stupid show The View or whatever it's called. They don't mention anything about this. No one is saying nothing about it, dude. No one is, that is really, really, really strange, man. But the cops are charged with second-degree murder, and the media is not showing any of this, which is going to lead to more riots, because it's going to almost be inevitable that when this footage is shown to the courts, to the jury, you can't get a second-degree murder charge out of this. Like, they're probably going to be either it's going to be pled down to a manslaughter, or the case could be dropped entirely, or not a guilty verdict being found. And then because the media isn't showing the whole story, once again, is not going to show us footage until after the fact, then people are going to be like, oh my God, this is crazy, and more riots will ensue and craziness will happen. And the media, once again, is stoking the flames of discontent between people. And it's and also the organizations and people who have agendas of their own are just piggybacking on that, and it's helping their cause and their case as well. It's just crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's really easy to say that this is a complete and utter scam going on. Like, it's kind of hard not to look at it that way. And like I once said, they can make it real clear, because people are not going to listen to this because they just, tunnel vision. George Floyd didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to die. His death was completely avoidable. He didn't have to have his neck kneeled on. It's also avoidable on his own part, because if he just got in the car and sat in the car, he would be alive today. That's another problem too. So it's a tragedy all around. It's the cops' fault, and it's also George Floyd's fault. I mean, it's more the cops' fault because they're the professionals. They're supposed to be trained to know how to deal with this situation. So the blame is more on them for his death. If you really want to be super as PC as I can get it on this channel here, if you can get as politically correct as I can get, he leans on his neck. He shouldn't be doing that. It's 8 minutes. Like, that's ridiculous. But at the same time, George Floyd has his own blame as well in it, that he's high out of his mind, won't get in the car. Obviously you don't deserve to die for any of the thing he did. Like, it's the extreme of the result does not fit the actual actions of him. But the story and the more important point of this whole video is not whether or not George Floyd, his death was warranted or not, which it isn't warranted, and the cops misacted. And the point is that it's not like a racially motivated incident where it's a white racist cop who is against black people. He may or may not be. He may be a racist cop, but in this instance, the racism and what happened really has nothing to do with this at all. It just has to be like it's a bad situation all around, and at the very worst, the cops are negligent, causing death, manslaughter maybe, and it's going to be hard to prove intent that they did it on purpose. And George Floyd, was already talking about couldn't breathe, and it's like I said, it's not the cops ain't right, but George Floyd and the whole situation is a lot more complicated than just what the media and everyone else is painting this picture to be, is what is being said. So anyways, very suspicious situation occurring here. Very weird times we're living in, man. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one, you big MLG stud muffin gamers. Thank you so much as always for the support. If you like this video, hit that like button. That'd be awesome. And if you enjoyed this type of stuff, subscribe. But last but not least, and most importantly, stay black. Question authority. Don't let the honky cracker or shapeshifter bring you down.